Good evening. I know it's a good evening because I just heard a cork pop outside the window. So it's a happy Friday to you. This is Tom Mullen, Vino Voices, and we are doing another Friday edition of our live stream virtual en premiere tasting. Welcome, bonjour, buongiorno, buenas tardes, ni hao, and thank you for joining in. Tonight what we're going to talk about is the Left Bank of Bordeaux. And I'm going to give you a quick little map to show you right bank, left bank. And remember, when you see it here, it's opposite of what it should be. And then I'm going to show you a handwritten note schematic explaining things. And I'll take into account that it's reversed. So just bear with me here. Okay, we have our props. We have the map. You've seen this before. The map of the wine regions in Bordeaux. Okay, we have the Atlantic Ocean over here. We have the Gironde estuary, 30 miles wide, 50 kilometers wide at the mouth there. We have the Dordogne River, passes through Saint-Emilion, and the Garonne River, which goes all the way to the city of Toulouse, okay? So today we're going to talk about this side, the left bank. Basically, the soils in the left bank, a lot of gravel, well drained, and so it's favorable towards Cabernet Sauvignon. The right bank, more clay, more wet, more favorable toward Merlot and Cabernet Franc. But Bordeaux wine is basically a blend. So sometimes you'll have more Merlot on the left bank than Cabernet Sauvignon. But generally, predominantly, left bank, more Cabernet Sauvignon, right bank, more Merlot and Cabernet Franc. Okay? So let's talk about, I'm going to do my little schematic diagram now. Very, very simple. If you can see, this here, that's the Gironde estuary. And this is going to be the Dordogne. I'm taking into account that it's backwards. And this is the Garonne. And that side is the left bank. This side is the right bank. And down here is called Entre de Mer, between the waters. And there you have, it is predominantly red, but also you have some excellent whites down there. And next week we're going to talk more about Entre de Mer, okay? But left bank. So let's talk about the history of Bordeaux in general. The Romans brought wine here. They were growing vines here in 60 BC. And in the year 79 AD, there was an eruption on Mount Vesuvius, and it covered the town of Pompeii in what is today Italy. And when they did their excavations, they have found clay amphorae with the word Bordeaux. Okay, it wasn't Bordeaux, it was Burdigala, what it was called. So in other words, the Romans were importing wine from Bordeaux to Italy, which makes phenomenal wine also, as far back as 75 AD, okay? So right down the road, 5 minutes down the road, is a town called Plassac. Not Pessac, not the town of wine repute to the south of Bordeaux, but this is a little village called Plassac. And it has a museum there, and the museum it has mosaics from the time of the Roman period. And outside the museum, they have the remains, the foundations of an ancient Roman villa. And the person who lived here was so wealthy they had heated floors. They found ductwork underneath, and they would pump in hot air, and so they had heated floors. I'm sure they had slaves who were doing that. The person who owned this villa, it's 5 minutes down the road, apparently he made his wealth, he was a Roman, made his wealth shipping wine up and down the Gironde estuary. So the history of wine and commerce here goes back to the time of the Romans, and it's also inextricably linked to not only having favorable soil conditions, favorable weather, but having the waterways for shipping the wine, whether it's to England or to the world, all right? So that was the time of the Romans. Then you had the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. You had what was known as, you could call it the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages. Let's be nice. Let's call it the Middle Ages. And a very important event happened here in the year 1152. Now, when I say here, I mean the southwest of France is the Aquitaine. It was known as the Aquitaine 1,000 years ago, and it's known as the Aquitaine today. And it always had a reputation throughout Europe for being sunny, agriculturally rich, bountiful, wealthy people, and wine. It was a great place to live. And the woman who was in charge of the Aquitaine in the early 1100s, the Duchess of Aquitaine, Her name was Eleanor of Aquitaine. And when she was young, she first married King Louis, who was the king of France. Had 2 daughters. They went their separate ways. And then she was married to Richard. Richard was the Count of Anjou. And in 1152, they were married. And Richard later became the King of England, Richard II. So you have Eleanor of Aquitaine. Not only is Eleanor of Aquitaine the Queen of France, but also later the Queen of England. But she always retained her title as Eleanor of Aquitaine because for her, the Aquitaine was more important than either France or England because it was such a beautiful, bounteous place. And her grandfather used to, it was a little different than most men in these times because treatment of women during this post-Roman Empire, they were treated not always romantically, let's say. But her grandfather was the first of the troubadours. So basically these guys would go around and they would sing love songs and court women. And they brought into the whole southwestern region of France the whole notion of courting women. So you have here in the Aquitaine, you have not only good food and wine, you also have courtship of the women in its history. But what Eleanor of Aquitaine did, and this is important, is she promoted the sale and the export of Bordeaux wines to England because Henry II, her husband, was English. So this part of France, for 300 years, was under English control. That's longer than the United States has been around. Under English control until the year 1453, when the 100-Year War, which is actually 116 years, ended at the Battle of Castillon, right up the road, okay? But it was under English rule. So remember 2 live streams ago, and maybe you don't because you might not have been here, I told how in the 14th and 15th centuries, the temperatures in England reduced, the precipitation increased, and the wine that they had been producing, and they've been producing wine in England since the time of the Romans, the wine that they produced was not very good quality. And so they started importing more wine from Bordeaux. Hence, Bordeaux's reputation went up. But in the 1600s, Bordeaux's wine was not selling as well as Portuguese wine. And wasn't selling as well as the wine, which is the southern part of Bordeaux, we're going to taste tonight from Grave. And so the wine growers, the wine merchants, the wine producers, they decided to do something about it. What they did is they hired a Dutch hydraulic engineer. Now, if you know anything about the country of Holland or Netherlands, a lot of the land is reclaimed. They have reclaimed that land, and as they say, God created the world, but the Dutch created Holland, okay? So the Dutch are some of the best water engineers in the world. Anyway, this man by the name of Jan Leegwater, he came down here with his engineers, and they built these dikes, and they built these pumping stations, and they pumped the water out. And then they went to the muddy terrain, and they put in reeds, and they grew them for a year or 2, and then it was dry, and then they could plant vineyards. So they increased the area of the vineyards on the left bank. So all these famous appellations, such as, and we're going to taste them tonight, Margaux and Saint-Estèphe and Saint-Julien, a lot of that land was salt marsh and swamp in the 1600s. So be grateful for the Dutch water engineers having come here. What happened after that? Well, you've got the classification of 1855. Not going to really go into that sort of a, don't need to go into that. But you had the reputation of wines growing. I mean, Thomas Jefferson was here in the late 1700s, who later became President of the United States. John Adams was here before him, who later became President of the United States, and they became great aficionados of Bordeaux wines. In fact, they classified wines pretty much, their classification aligns with the 1855 classification. But we don't need to go into that today. Let's go back one step, something I forgot, another prop. Remember I was talking about Romans? Okay, so they have all these Roman ruins around here. Fantastic. I went to one, and the bookstore, they're selling this book not only in French, because my French is mediocre, but in English. And I bought this. It's called Dining as a Roman Empire, How to Cook Ancient Roman Recipes Today. And they've actually found all these ancient texts, and they have the recipes. So I'm going to read you a quick quote. They're talking about Pompeii. And they said, we see evidence of food and drink everywhere in Pompeii. The ubiquitous bars in Italian cities today can trace their ancestry to Roman times. When one was tired in the street and needed to quench one's thirst, there was always a thermopolium with its marble counter and enormous wine-filled dolia buried in the masonry. One could choose not only the type of wine and the amount to be added, because in antiquity wine was always diluted with water, but also whether to drink it piping hot or ice cold. Yeah. Anyway, interesting recipes in here. You've got cheese with walnuts. You've got sauce for carrots or parsnips. Anyway, so we're going to start tasting some wine now. We've gone 10 minutes. And after we taste a few bottles of wine, we're going to have someone join us who is Director General from the Médoc. Before we taste the wine, I just want to see the people who are online. Hello, Yvonne. Hello, Clarissa. Hello, Laura. Oh, hello, Robin from New York and Geraldine from San Emilion. Okay, we've got Martin from England. We have Mariska, Lori Cave, United States. Oh, so great to have you on here. And we have JBM Bond from lockdown up near La Rochelle. Heather, nice to have you. Hubert, nice to have you here. Great stuff. We are going to taste some wines tonight. Jane, hello from New York. All right. And Heather and also Alex Putman, nice to have you here. Marlene, okay, just saying hi to everyone. And Kim of Texas. Kim and I worked in Pakistan together. Kim is American from Texas. She's married to Cody, and the two of them are living in Geneva. And they were supposed to visit pretty much this week. Well, you know what happened in those plans. Kim and Cody, welcome here, okay? Let me just see what else we have. Okay, we have Laurent, Andre. We have Salon d'Outsider, Jean-Marc Quaran. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Okay, time to get tasting, all right? So we're going to start off from Grave. Now, Grave is a southern portion of Bordeaux's left bank, also known today as Pessac-Léognan. And they are historically renowned for excellent white wines. This is a Château Les Closettes, okay? You see the background there. And this is a 70% Sauvignon Blanc, 30% Semillon. Let's see how this one goes. All right. And then we are going to call Laurent, but we'll do that in about 10 minutes or so, okay? Yeah, this is, Sauvignon Blanc. This is screaming grapefruit on the nose. Oh, so fresh and powerful. Only about 10 or 15% of wines in Bordeaux are white, which 50 years ago, about half of them were white. But the whites in Bordeaux are some of the best on this planet, okay? Beautiful, very fresh, energetic. The tension between the fruit and the acidity here, optimal. And sometimes we get very, very clean, precise tastes with whites from the Grave region or Pessac-Léognan in Bordeaux Left Bank. Now, whoops, I shouldn't be doing that. I know it makes noise, but next we're going to Chateau Magnol, Haute Médoc, okay? And you'll see there, Chateau Magnol, it says Cru Bourgeois. What does that mean? In 1855, some guys came down to Paris from Napoleon, and they classified the wines according to which was supposedly the best, but really the most expensive. And a lot of wineries were not visited, and they complained afterwards, and they said, well, what about us? We'd like to be classified too. So in 1932, they basically, the French bureaucrats got together, and they said, well, let's have a classification, which is an excellent thing, for wines that are not in the 1855 classification, but are still of excellent quality. And those are the Cru Bourgeois, okay? So, what we're tasting now, this is the Chateau Magnol. This is an 18th century chateau, and I'm going to look at this is a 48-40-12 Merlot Cabernet Sauvignon Cabernet Franc, okay? Let's have a look at this. Ooh, it's Friday. Yes, okay. Oh, this is, light red fruit. You got the raspberries, cherries jumping out at you. Ooh, oh my goodness. Beautiful, very luscious, deep fruit. Very plush. That's the word, plush. Okay, now let's taste this, boy. Mmm. This is gorgeous. You could have this before dinner or with dinner. I'd have this with the Magret de Canard duck, which I love, even with the sirloin. This is absolutely spectacular. And this is, I believe, 20-year-old vines. Yes. Okay. So Chateau Magnol. Excellent Cru Bourgeois. And it is from Haut-Medoc. So one of the regions, you have different appellations in the Left Bank. One of them is Haut-Medoc, which is basically downstream, and the Bas-Medoc is up to the north. And then you have other appellations such as Margaux and Saint-Estèphe, and we're going to get to a few of those in a little while. Well, I mean, pretty much now. Okay, the next one. This is from Margaux, the appellation Margaux, and this is Chateau des Rems Valentine. Okay? See that? Chateau des Rems Valentine. All right. And I think I arranged these bottles so that we are moving from south to north. Right. So there's Haut-Medoc, south of Margaux, and there's also more Haut-Medoc to the north of Margaux. Okay? And I will line the bottles up here so you can see them, backward though it may be. Okay? Like that. Okay. So, this one is a lot of fruit also, but you've got some like a licorice and tar, more structure, more heft here. Yeah, you got dark fruit, blackberries, a little bit of black pepper in here. Mmm. Beautifully balanced, elegant, lovely wine. Oh my goodness. When this when this live stream is over, what am I going to do? Oh, someone has to help me. Okay. And the next one, Château Lamothe-Bergeron. Now I'm going to try to find Monsieur, let's see, Laurent Mery, who is the Director General of Château Lamothe-Bergeron. Okay. So let's see if we can find you. Hold on, I'll scroll down to the bottom. Hello, Robert. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Dennis Arnaud. It's great to have you here. Okay, I'm looking for Laurent. And when I find Laurent, you can join us. Here we go. Okay, I think you have to send me an invite, Laurent, and then you can join. Okay, so why don't you try sending me an invite, and then we'll put you on. There are all these buttons down here, but I don't want to press any of them. Oh goodness, what could happen if I do? Okay, so try to, oh no, I won't do it. We're gonna taste this wine. Okay, and then hopefully we can speak to Laurent. Clean up these glasses a little bit. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good Friday. I doubt if you went traveling very far. I did. I went to the post office today. And they told me you have to go to the bigger post office. So I drove 2 kilometers away to the bigger post office. Wow, this one is got some really silky, dark black fruit. Yeah, beautifully balanced, this one. Mm. And let me just check my notes about this. This is a 50-45-5 Merlot Cabernet Sauvignon Petit Verdot. We haven't run a Petit Verdot during the last tastings, and it adds. Why would you use Petit Verdot? Well, it adds some tannins, and it can be it's thick-skinned grape, usually added in small proportions. Okay, now let's see. You waved at. Okay, let's see if we can join Lamothe-Bergeron again. Okay, let's try it. Let's try this. Go live with. Ah, okay. I think this should work. Okay. And also, I've figured out how to use the system. So we're waiting for Laurent to join us. And this wine is delicious. Okay. Okay. In the meantime, the next one we're going to go to is Chateau Grand Puy du Casse. This is from Pauillac. And this is a Grand Cru Classé from 1855. Chateau Grand Puy du Casse. Okay. All right, so let me try getting Laurent again. Okay, Laurent. Laurent. The next thing, bonjour.
That's
Laurent.
Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Comment allez-vous? How are you?
I'm fine, but I was trying to be connected, but it didn't work. You know?
Don't worry. This is the 5th time I've done this, and I'm still having problems. So it's technology. It's great to have you here. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah,
I've just sampled your wine. I'm loving it. It's very, very silky. Beautiful. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your chateau, and then tell us why you love Bordeaux wines compared to other wines in the world. Tell us about yourself.
But you gave us some nice comments on the tasting. You know, so Lamothe-Bergeron. You know, we are located between Margaux and Saint-Julien.
Mm-hmm.
On the famous road, you know, the D2 road, you know, crossing all these magnific, chateaus.
Right.
So we are located in the little village just before, you know, Pauillac.
Yes.
Sac-Fort-Médoc.
Okay.
Fort-Médoc. So we are located there, under the appellation Haut-Médoc. Right. So you mentioned the classification. We are a cru bourgeois, and from this year we have been upgraded, you know, cru bourgeois supérieur.
Felicitaciones! Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great.
And so we have around 70 hectares of vines, so producing approximately 400,000 bottles every year. And our main grapes, you know, are Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, and we have a hint of Petit Verdot with 2 hectares, you know. So it's a beautiful estate, you know, which have been totally renovated 5 years ago now. Cheers. Okay,
cheers. I hope you have a glass.
Cheers.
Happy Friday. Happy lockdown, everyone. Get out your glass. Have a good time.
Thank you so much.
Well, lockdown will only last for so long, so our memories of this time will last forever. So anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So we have this fantastic 2019 vintage, you know, which is going to be something great at Lamothe-Bergeron. Maybe if you comment on the weather conditions, we had, you know, a very rainy winter. Then we moved to a nice, very nice spring with a cool temperature, and then we had a very, very hot summer. You know, very hot summer, very, very hot. And fortunately, you know, in September. We had a few falls, you know, few rainfalls, which were, we call them, you know, the magic rains, you know, in Bordeaux. So we had definitely a very nice crop. Yeah.
Great.
Look, this 2019 is very on the fruit. See,
Mm-hmm.
very on the red fruits, red black cherry, black currant, and in mouth you have very heavy mouth with round tannins. You know.
Yes, elegant. Elegant little slim streak of tannins, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and a long lunch as well. So it's going to be a great bottle of wine in a store. Of course, still in barrels, you know.
Yes.
Until the end of the year.
Yeah, the length of this is sort of a little bit of a darkness, like a licorice, a little bit of sage there. The length is astounding, though. Yes.
Licorice is a good comment, definitely.
Yeah. That's great. And so you have 67 hectares, 165 acres, and you're overlooking the estuary, and you have, yes, I think you have, I looked at photographs. You have like the very beautiful chateau because you have the conical towers over those, you have the towers and then you have the conical roof. I mean, it's a quintessential chateau. Beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. The chateau has been edified in 1868.
Okay.
But you know, during the many years, you know, the chateau has been a little bit forgotten and destroyed, and so we decided in 2014 to make a full renovation. So now entirely renovated.
Okay.
With beautiful suites, you know, rooms, testing rooms, living rooms. We are welcoming many people every year, more than 8,000 people, because I've opened in 2015 a wine tourism activity, so it's quite successful today.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
After lockdown, I hope to come out sometime and visit. Okay.
Cool.
Cheers. Happy Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Au revoir. Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir, Tom.
Great guy. Yeah. So we're keeping time. 8:27. We have about 3 minutes. I have two wines. Okay. We did the this Grand Puy du Casse, very elegant also. And then I'm doing the Chateau Tour de Terme. Tour means tower. Okay. And grave means gravel. So when you see Tour de Grave, it's the tower of gravel. And Tour de Termes means the tower of probably the thermal, maybe they had hot springs there. Oh, yes, this has a little bit of cumin and cloves, spice on the nose. And you got that dark fruit also. Great. Let me show you this bottle again. Oh, beauty. And oops. Another energetic fruit explosion. Looked a little bit of lavender and sage, a little bit of brick on the nose. And our final is, and I'm pretty sure we took notes on this. If not, I did taste it. Excellent. Chateau Tour de Pez, Saint-Estèphe. And Saint-Estèphe is one of the appellations up north. So all of these wines, we have a Grand Cru. We also have Cru Bourgeois, which are excellent, okay? So now let's try the Chateau Tour de Pez. Okay. This is our last sip. Okay, I've got them all lined up here. I don't know if you can see them all, but almost. Okay. Oh, this is a raspberry explosion. This is a light red fruit coming out here. This is like raspberries jumping. Woo. And black cherries. Beautiful. So this is a different terroir, different characteristics north of Margaux, north of that area of Haut-Médoc. This is Saint-Estèphe. You would pair that. It's light enough. You could actually pair it with poultry, and it would go very well. Okay, now I just want to say hello to everyone who's here. Roland, Lauren. Okay. The Wine Knitter, how are you? We went to a great website. We went to Sicily together. Denis. Okay. Everyone, great to have you here. Let's see. Good stuff. Okay. Anyway, thank you for joining. Visit my site, Vino Voices. We'll do another live stream next week. We'll do some Bly wines. We'll do some Entre du Mer wines. And we'll figure out... I also have some wines coming from Abruzzo in Italy, but that'll be another week or so. Okay, so thank you very much for joining. Check out my site, Vino Voices, and look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you for coming. Au revoir. Happy Friday.